Brian, the banks here in Maylands, they're just a beautiful place to fish, aren't they?
Absolutely. I reckon a great day for a lazy bit of fishing.
Sun's out, a little bit of breeze wafting along, and we're going after bream today, but not with lures, we're going with baits. And Ryan's using a whole prawn, standard sort of rig. I'm going to use something called the jellybean principle. Now Ryan, I see you got your rod in the water, you better go and look after it, I might go in. Jellybean principle, what does that mean? Well, that's my bait. It's a very small bait. Now, think of it like this. You've had a 4-course meal and you're full. Someone offers you a hamburger, you're not going to eat it. But if someone offers you a jelly bean, you are probably going to eat that jelly bean because it's only a little thing. Now that is a little bait. So the idea is, if the fish aren't really in a feeding mood, but they see that, they'll suck it down. So it's this versus Ryan, not too competitive, but going to test and see who gets the most fish. And in my fish tank at home, if I put a large bait that's shelled into it, they won't suck it all the way down, they'll mess with it, they'll suck it in, spit it out. If I put a little bit like that in, the fish will wolf it down every time. And that's what I'm going to test right now. Still there. Just got to let them have a bit of line. Gotcha. It's not huge, but it's a start. You just have to have patience with these. Ooh. So even the little ones give you a good little battle. Get away from those snags. Come on. And it's a bream, of course. And Ryan, my little jelly bean theory has worked a treat. He's not 25 centimetres. I can tell he's a he because they're actually coming to breeding season. I won't show you that. That's not really something for daytime TV. But probably about 20 centimetres. And my jelly bean principle is that you're going to hook little ones, but you're going to hook big ones too. Now, I'm going to nip that leader off. You shouldn't use your teeth, but there you go. I'm going to pop it back in the water now and I'll just talk to you about something. Off you go. That's fine. Now, Ryan will be the first person to tell you, he actually only was telling me last night that he's caught a snapper recently that had the rig that he lost it from the last night in its mouth. It was still feeding, took a bait, caught the next night. So that hook won't hurt him as long as it's in the corner of the mouth where it was. So you can bite that off or cut it off, preferably. Fish is going to be fine. A lot of people leave their rods and holders. I prefer just to hold mine. Oh, I've got a fish going here. I've got a fish going. And that way I can feel any time I get a little nudge, just like that. Because with these small baits, they'll wolf them down. And I've got him. Oh, it's a tiny fish. Oh, actually, yeah, it's only small. Ryan, we can see though the jelly bean principle here in action.
It's definitely working.
Another small fish, but the big ones will take it too. Your bait, obviously, they can't get down, can they?
Yeah, definitely using the smaller baits will get smaller fish, but I'm wanting the bigger fish, so I'm using the whole prawn. Hopefully I'll get a big fish soon.
Another little one. But they're very aggressive on the smaller bait. And you can see that even though here we're getting the smaller ones, he's fine, got his bearings. A friend of mine, Steve Pankhurst, who writes for our magazine the other night, after seeing my fish in the tank, he actually went down to the Narrows Bridge and he was using whole prawns and the heads kept getting ripped off. Now my fish in the tank don't eat the heads. They'll leave them alone, they'll go mouldy on the bottom. And remembering what he saw, he started changing to these little baits. And after he changed, they landed and released 30 bream out of 35 runs. And a lot of them were 30 to 40 centimetres. So it can really make a difference, not just a small fish, but big ones too, if they're fuzzy. This fish bite liquid burley is something we've actually been using a fair bit. Ryan's used it for snapper and it works really well for bream. What I'm just doing literally is that, chucking it in the water. It actually floats on top, but if you see the slick that it's creating, a lot of it actually sinks to the bottom, which is unusual because normal fish oils actually don't sink. They tend to float away, but this stuff actually drops down to the bottom and sits there, gets the fish feeding and stays in your area, not someone else's. See that tree there? See how the branch goes over and down? Things are going to be falling off that branch all the time. That's why I'm concentrating on getting my bait under there. Just let it sink to the bottom, little cast, little flat cast too, so you don't get hooked up on the tree. Keep that bail arm open just so they've got a chance to run with it if they want to. Yeah, here we go. straight away. This is where the jelly beans come into it. If there's a big prawn, he'd probably be messing about with it, but I reckon he'll take it down in a minute. Yes, Ryan. Another small one though. We've just found a lovely tree here with an overhang. There's going to be all sorts of stuff underneath it. First cast straight underneath, another little baby. Now of course, there's a lot of you folks watching at home that have caught a lot bigger bream than this, and I have too, but if you want to take your kids fishing and you look like a bit of a legend to them, something like this, you can't go wrong. Just make sure you put the small ones back, eh? Yep. Yep. See, none of them are huge with this method, but it's a great way for beginners to, ooh, he's got it right now. It's a great way for beginners to actually start out doing this. Because with small baits, there's much more margin for error. And that one's actually legal. He'd be 25 centimetres for sure. Swan River bream. In the afternoon, look at that. Marvellous. Here's something you can do with the whole family. Doesn't cost much. My teeth have had a good workout today. You shouldn't do that. But this is something everyone can do. And it's fun. It's certainly been a lot of fun, and the fish weren't huge, but it was really a good demonstration of what I was talking about. Now, final thing I want to do is take you back to my house, and I'm going to show you my bream and exactly how I learnt about this method. So this is my tank. I've got catfish, barramundi, there's bream there, that's called a scat, yellowtail grunter. The one thing is, there's a whole prawn, and watch how they react when I put it in. We've got to keep it away from the barramundi. Watch. Now look how tentative they are. Look at that. Barra just swallowed it, but he'll spit it back out again. I'll put another one in. Here you go, bream. And look at that. They're very tentative, but watch this. Watch when I put some little pieces in. Boom, boom. Everything's going for it. And that illustrates it perfectly why jelly bean baits are definitely the way to go with smaller fish or if they're fussy.